I'll start off with welcoming businesses to be more business friendly, and that pays for itself because businesses are corporate citizens. They pay taxes and they help support a community, and those taxes are what the commission and the community uses to pay for the resources, the municipal water, for the safety, for fire, for building inspection, for all the things that cities need. So you take care of the business, and then you take care of the homeowners and the taxpayers. The homeowners and paying taxes is the second way that the city generates its income. And if you drive people away, you're driving a tax base away. And without that tax base, there's no, you cannot pay for anything. You cannot pay with $0. You have to have dollars on the books. And the third thing is, once that the dollars come in, then to take care of those dollars as elected officials, to use your tax money, my tax money, effectively, so that I as a taxpayer and you as a taxpayer, you get the biggest bang for your buck. It's not the job of government to run like a business per se, because government has expenses, has responsibilities to its citizens. But one of those major responsibilities is, once I receive your money, and I do care and diligence with your money, and I respect that money and I pay it to where it needs to be paid, and I honor that.
Thank you.
The question that I would like to ask is, when elected, do you have the time to give to being a city commissioner? Right now there are 2 meetings a month, but there are committees to work on. There are committees that joint things that the city does with other cities. There are county boards that hold a seat open for city representation. We do a lot of things, Tri-County, Berrien, Cass, Van Buren County, we do that all the time. So have you thought about it, and do you have the time to give to working, truly to represent our community? Yes.
Well, before I even endeavored to go down this pathway, my husband and I sat down and we discussed this particular endeavor and everything that it encompasses, which is a lot of the time, and so at this point, yes, because it was thought out prior to endeavoring and doing it, so yes.
Well, that's a good question. After prior consideration, and me personally being single with no kids, I have all the ample time and convenience to do this, so yes.
I'm not as fortunate as Mr. Bowen, where I have kids and I have a family and I've been married for 26 plus years. But I have thought about that, and yes, time is something you take, and I'll take the time. My wife asked me if I would have time to take on this endeavor, and I told her I don't have the time not to. I've complained for too long after being here for 7 years about the issues and problems I've seen in the city. Well, this is my way of trying to be part of the solution, and I will take the time to do what needs to be done to be an effective commissioner for this great city.
And part of my targets, just a little history of me. My name is Dylan Barnes. I'm the former First Ward Commissioner of the City of Benton Harbor, currently a member of the Benton Harbor Promise Zone. A question I have, I heard a statement go out there welcoming new businesses. My question to all of you guys would be, what about the business that exists? As a small business owner, what would you guys do to ensure that local businesses will get their fair share? A lot of times, we welcome new businesses and just look over the business that currently exists. So I would like to know what steps or plans do you have for the business that exists here?
Certainly. First of all, you have to communicate with those businesses and find out what their needs are. And there are grants and training available for small business through the Michigan Small Business Association, through the National or Federal Small Business Association. And once you determine what those needs are, help assist the businesses in obtaining either grants or the training that they would need to deal with their customer base, whether that's car wash, whether it's salon service.
I actually had a chance to deal with small business. Many of you may know the Larks, a small business here in Benton Harbor, is part of my family. We have to be innovative. Yes, we do have a small business association. Yes, we do have the Chamber of Commerce. But we also have to understand that we have to be creative. The ways that we've been working now have not been working. A lot of citizens that I talk to going into some of the local businesses don't feel comfortable. We have to, make them feel comfortable. We have to change our way of thinking, be open to new ideas and new ways and everything.
I think that small businesses are a lifeblood to our community, and in doing so, Benton Harbor gets a lot of state and government funding, and I think that because we qualify for so many state and government fundings, that, like I said earlier, HUD's Section 3, the 1968 Act, is a perfect example of a way to extend more businesses to our small and local contractors and businesses. So thank you.
Okay, we have about 5 more minutes. We're going to ask a couple more questions and give Mr. Barnes an opportunity to ask some more questions. Please, at this time, complete your question cards so that they can be retrieved, so that they can come up and we can ask the candidates, the audience, questions. Mr. Barnes, would you?
I'll just have a follow-up to the question I just asked. And again, I'm a small business owner that has been trained and have something, but my follow-up is, for instance, the Section 3 money. What will you guys as elected officials do to ensure that local contractors, let me just speak on that now, will be ensured their fair share? There's a lot of development going on, and every development that takes place in the city limits have to get permits from you guys if you're elected. What steps are you going to take to ensure that the local contractors are going to get their fair share of these big developments? And that's my final question.
I would hold people accountable. That's one thing that's been lacking from City Hall downtown. We haven't been holding people accountable. We say we're going to make sure people are going to get these jobs, or Section 3, they're going to hire certain people, but it's still business as usual. I think we need to hold people accountable, and I'll be a commissioner that holds people accountable. I'll expect for you to hold me accountable as voters, and I'll be holding myself accountable in businesses that come into Benton Harbor and not use our people. It's either hire a certain percentage of our people or don't do business at all.
Well, I don't think that we should be giving anybody anything, but I do believe that local contractors, again, are the lifeblood to our community. And with the Section 3, the HUD Act, the way it's designed, it is a law, and it's something that people can be held accountable to because it is law. And doing some research, Kansas City was one of the cities that adopted the HUD principles. They were actually cited and had to actually implement that plan. So using that that particular model would actually benefit the contractors and the local businesses in our city. We actually have, we can actually control that. And I think that some of the powers that we haven't been utilizing to the fullest and not looking out for the residents and businesses in our community, has been some of our problems. Not keeping our word and holding people accountable for getting loans and not distributing them, the way that they should be. Thanks.
I'm not familiar with Section 3, so I can't speak on Section 3. but as a small business, for small businesses, in reference to that, first of all, hold the business account. What is a business a good, viable business? Is it a good corporate citizen, so to speak, for the city of Benton Harbor? Anyone can get a business card and throw a name on it and say they're business. But what are they going to do? What do they offer to the city? It's a two-way street. It's not just that the small business has to say, come in and demand something and not provide something to the citizens. If you cannot provide something, it's as a consumer, the consumer is going to go elsewhere. They're going to go to the business that can provide whatever it is that they feel that they need. So I'm going to assist in any way I can to help that small business, but that small business or large business needs to be properly vetted. What is it that they're doing to help benefit? Are they being a good corporate citizen? Are the citizens being good citizens? And as a commissioner, what can I do to help both those sides? It's not just a one-sided equation.
My respond question I would like to ask is, and I think I never know how to phrase it, I want you to talk about the water. I want you to talk about our water plant, I think about the potential for it to be our #1 money maker, the potential to be our #1 money loser. There are some communities that are about to leave us. You know, what are your thoughts about the city of Benton Harbor water plant? And I'd start with Mr. Bowman.
That's a good subject. I've been hearing about that as I go door to door and talk with the residents. As someone that's staying on their own, working 35 hours a week, I'm going to feel the burden. It's going to be a hard burden on me. It's going to be a hard burden on a lot of us. But we got to also understand we can't blame nobody on this water plant. Yes, it's been something that's been going on from the 70s, back in 1970s for me doing studying. The water department was charging, Benton Township was charging the water department a surcharge, meaning they had plans long term ago to build their own water plant. Benton Harbor was going to be affected with this. We have to be resourced, and we also have to admit, we had some social ills with our water department. We had a lot of infrastructure problems, we had a lot of bad pipes, a lot of bad sewage problems, and I think a few months ago we had a problem with our water being contaminated, if I'm correct. So we've had some problems. I think if I'm correct, Joe Harris has outsourced that to a different company or something. I think our water department is the most vital thing. I think we need to make sure we have competent people in that office holding and administrating over that department.
Well, I actually think, that it is unfortunate that we had to lose customers in our township, but then that goes to ineffective leadership and creating a business-friendly environment where you're sitting down, sitting at the table and you're compromising and everyone getting something out of, or our particular city benefiting from those compromises. So I think it's, because of the ineffective leadership, but at the same time, I think that we will need to come up with another way to generate, to get revenues from losing that, that stream of income. So I just think it's sad and it shouldn't have occurred.
I think, and I'm just going to state the obvious, that obviously that water is the lifeblood of any city, of any community. And this has been a long time in the making. And shame on the current commissioners that have not worked with Benton Township, with St. Joe Township, and creating a water board, working together with those other communities to the point where we're losing customers and our water bill may go up 50%. So, as a commissioner, we need short-term, intermediate, and long-term goals for the city to establish these issues where we have a 100-year-old infrastructure, and these things need to be corrected.